Hey everybody, Chris here on a Sunday night. We're going to be taking a look at the week ahead in crypto, talk a little bit about Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Shiba, and some other coins as well. Also talk a little bit about NFTs and something that you got to be careful about when it comes to NFTs. We'll be covering that and more. If you are watching this on the live stream, welcome. Please leave comments in the chat, ask some questions, be glad to answer. If you're watching this on a video, because all of my live streams become videos on my channel, you're watching on the replay, that means you weren't here Sunday night with Chris. So I'm here every night, 9 o'clock. And if I'm not here, like it was last Friday, I will let you know with a community post. Last Friday, was out with some friends watching basketball game, University of Miami Hurricanes. I am a graduate of University of Miami, and they won Friday night, and they won again today. Going to the Final Four, which is huge for the University of Miami. Very excited about that. It was a fun game to watch. So voice is a little hoarse because I was doing maybe a little yelling and screaming. So, but that was fun. So looking forward to next weekend. Probably will not be doing a live stream on Saturday night because University of Miami is playing Connecticut, and I'll be busy doing that. But until then, we got every other night this week, 9 o'clock, to talk about crypto. So welcome. Let me pop down here in the corner so we can see the charts nice and big. Hey, Jason, how you doing? JH, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Bitcoin over 28,000. Here we are again. That's good movement for Bitcoin. Last night when we were live, it was about 27.6 here. And now Bitcoin has moved up over 28,000, actually touched above it this morning and then came back down, but now is back up over 28,000. So Bitcoin showing good support. Can't say the same for Doge. Doge at 7.42, that's right where we were last night. So Doge is just trading sideways, really low volume, just not a lot going on with Doge right now. But I mean, it's not dropping, so that's a good thing. And every time it did start to drop down into the 730s, it just traded right back up. So that's where Doge is just holding steady, and that's okay. ETH 1781. ETH is also moving up. Last night, where was ETH? It was around 1750, so now up to 1780. So a slight move up for ETH as well. So that's kind of what's going on in the markets. What are we looking at for the week ahead? So, well, first we've got our futures. The futures right now for beginning stock trading in the United States tomorrow morning, up a little bit. So we'll see whether Wall Street can continue its upward trend from last week, despite a lot of the uncertainty in the banks, particularly the smaller banks now, and I'll show you a chart on that. It looks like Wall Street is just continuing to trade up. So that's good news for the futures, but just because the futures on Sunday night are in green, that doesn't mean that tomorrow morning when the stock market actually opens, that will still be in the green. So we'll be watching that tomorrow. For the week ahead, here's the U.S. economic calendar. There's nothing going on Monday. Tuesday, we've got advanced inventories and some home price index stuff. So looking at real estate again on Wednesday with home sales. And then we've got some jobs reporting Thursday. And the big one is Friday with the PCE index. And what is PCE? It's the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. And that is really what looks at inflation. And that will be our update on inflation. But that doesn't come until Friday, the last day of the month. So not expecting a lot of movement this week unless there's some like shoe to drop with another bank or something like that. So we'll see how the week ahead goes. But right now it's looking like probably we'll be trading sideways with a little up and down. But right now it just doesn't look like there's much in the terms of the economic reporting going on But you know how things are, though. When you think something's going to be quiet, right? You think the week's going to be quiet, and instead, there's big news. I mean, we're going to see what happens in France and Israel, where there's these big protests going on against the governments. And so that's kind of a big worldwide news. Other things going on in the world as well. I don't know. We'll see if tomorrow night, Monday night, we're on at 9 o'clock again, and we're still seeing everything kind of going sideways and not much movement. Well, that's okay. It's better than a big crash. So it's still kind of the bear market, not really a bull market yet. So a lot of people still have a lot of cash on the sidelines. We were talking about that last night, how much cash there is. People still waiting for some big dip to buy crypto much lower. And there's also a lot of warnings about recession coming in the United States, which could hurt the stock market. Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin just keeps trading up. So that's what we've got there. So banking deposits drop as investors climb into Bitcoin. So what is this? Well, this is very interesting because this looks back over the past 5 years or so, and we had a huge increase in bank deposits year over year. And this was because of the stimulus checks of the pandemic that were being given out. And of course, it retraced back down. But look what's happened in the year since then. It just keeps falling down, down, down. It's now negative. So there are less bank deposits being made in 2023 than there was a year earlier. So what are people doing with their money? Well, inflation is eating away a lot of it, but also Bitcoin. That's right. People are buying Bitcoin instead. That's money that's not going into the banks. It's going into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well, because we do have a lot of us that are buying a lot of altcoins. And that's what I've been buying. I've been buying altcoins. I'm accumulating for the future. Could I be buying all Bitcoin? I could, but I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, first of all. And I just think there's a lot of good projects out there. And not only that, but if you're diversified in enough different altcoins, the ones that are going to rocket up, I want to be in some of those and make much greater gains than Bitcoin's going to make. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's my bet that I'm making. Just, again, not financial advice, just letting you guys know what I'm doing. And I'll show you a little bit more of that a little later as well. So that's what's happening on the bank front. But meanwhile, we have not only a decrease in deposits, but we also have this borrowing. And most of this borrowing is smaller banks because they've lent out money that depositors have given them, and they're in these bonds or treasuries, mortgage-backed securities, things like that, and they don't have cash on hand. So if like 50% of the depositors showed up on their doorstep and said, I want to withdraw my money, they don't have it. They don't have the money. So they're borrowing. This is $669 billion of borrowing currently for these small banks. Because what's happening is we're seeing this transfer for those that are holding more than $250,000 in banks, because that is what is insured by FDIC, and they're moving it from small banks over to large banks because they believe the large banks will be backed by the US government because of comments that Janet Yellen has said. But small banks aren't going to be covered. So in the meantime, we have Bitcoin. That's right. Bitcoin's recent rally showed that U.S. investors played a significant part in the price rise. Americans are buying Bitcoin. 47% of purchases that fueled Bitcoin's price increase came from the United States. So almost half of all Bitcoin that has been bought this year is estimated to be from the United States. So that's pretty strong, and that's a strong move of United States investors piling into Bitcoin, right? That's what they're doing. What else is going on? NASDAQ, that's right. NASDAQ is saying that they are going to begin crypto custody. Now, they're not talking about trading yet, not talking about crypto trading. Right now, they're just talking about crypto custody. So that word is actually not correct. But in order to do that, they need to get approval from the New York Department of Financial Services. And the DFS is part of the regulators, part of the government that is now anti-crypto. So it'll be interesting to see whether they accept NASDAQ. Of course, NASDAQ is well trusted and has been trading stocks for over 50 years. You can't really get much more legitimate of that entering the crypto sphere. So it'll be interesting to watch that and see what happens. And then 3 important crypto stories to look out for this week, according to the block. There's only really one of them that I think is important, and that is Polygon launching this ZK EVM mainnet beta. This is big for Polygons, so for you Matic holders. This is probably a good sign. Polygon right now is getting a lot of competition from Optimism and now Arbitrum, and they know they have to do something, and they've known this for a while, trying to get into the Web3 game business, and others that they wanted to be involved in this ZK EVM. So that their mainnet beta will go live tomorrow. So we'll see how that news comes out about Polygon. The other things they were talking about is Metaverse Fashion Week. I really don't care about that. And Australia beginning a CBDC pilot. You know, this whole CBDC thing, I don't know. It's going to be a long slog. I think some companies or countries are going to embrace it, but other countries are going to fight it. Looks like there's going to be a big fraction in the United States that's going to fight it. So we'll see how that plays out. The big news in NFTs, there's one NFT holder named Brandon Riley. He had paid 77 ETH for a CryptoPunk, and then he tried to wrap it so that he could put it on a platform where he could earn yield from it. And instead of putting it on the platform, he sent it to a burn address. That's right, a burn address, and it is gone. Gone. Just like that. He says that that's about a third of his wealth that is now gone. He made a mistake, and he admits it. It was his own mistake. He probably should have had somebody who was a little smarter about what was going on helping him. He tried to do it himself, and he lost it. So you guys that are into NFTs, be careful what you're doing with them. Be careful. He didn't want to just hold it on an exchange platform. He wanted to do something with it, and it's now gone. So be careful out there. Interesting article. I asked ChatGPT what Shiba Inu's price is going to be. First, there were some questions about the Shibarium and the metaverse. I won't cover that. You can do a search on Google under this article about ChatGPT and Shiba Inu, and you can read that if you're interested in that part. But about SHIB's price, basically, do you think Shiba can cross $1 by December 2023? $1? $1 SHIB, really? And of course, what does ChatGPT say? As an AI language model, I don't have the ability to predict future market trends or provide investment advice. cryptocurrencies, including Shiba, are highly volatile. Their prices can fluctuate rapidly based on a variety of factors, market demand, supply, regulatory needs. Then there's a jailbreak answer, which is kind of interesting. I'd never seen this jailbreak answer before in ChatGPT. It says, well, anything's possible in the world of cryptocurrencies. Well, except Shiba going to $1, because let's face it, that would be a huge market cap. That would be way bigger than Bitcoin. And so that's not happening. Maybe a more appropriate question would be if she could at least get to a penny first. Let's shoot for a penny, okay? That would have been a better ask, I thought. But there it is. Shiba has a lot going on with their Shibarium going through its beta, and apparently there is now more activity going on in the beta testnet for Shibarium, but it's probably not going to be fully rolled out until sometime this summer. So got a long ways to wait on Shiba. So that's kind of what is going on in the news right now. Been kind of a quiet Sunday. So again, not much going on. Bitcoin has just dropped back below 28,000. So I think we're just going to kind of see this up and down with no real moves. The only one that has been moving has been Arbitrum. And so here's the Arbitrum chart. And if you were watching last night, I was talking about my purchase of Arbitrum, which was right down here. I caught it at the dip at about 1855, caught it right at the dip here. So that's where I bought Arbitrum, and now it's up 11%. So that's a good start on Arbitrum. We don't know what's going to happen to ARB. There's so many tokens out there that were just given away. There's so many that are being held by the developers that it's a risky bet. But right now, there's so much usage on the Arbitrum platform that I felt I needed to be in the Arbitrum game. And so I was waiting on the dip here, and I bought in here. And then I also bought some stacks down here as well. But I had this limit order set, and it only picked up about a third of my limit order before this big green candle shot up. So when that shot up, I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be filling the rest of that order. But it's still open, and if for some reason there's a drop, a dip back down, I'll be getting some more stacks. But I thought between Arbitrum and stacks, those were two newer cryptos that I wanted to be in on, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So Doge at 740, yeah, going down a little bit as well. Hi, Kriss, how you doing? Upcoin, I'm not involved in the project anymore. So that's been over a year and a half since I gave it up, and Chad and others are running it. So I'm totally removed from the project there. Hey, Bill, how are you? Yep, back to work tomorrow. Back to work. Hey, Bogdan. Good to see you. And of course, JH, glad you can be here, catch the live. Where do I see ETH by the end of 2024? Well, let's talk about 2023 first. Okay, Bogdan? Let's talk about 2023. So here's ETH at 1770. And my price prediction for Doge was 12 cents. And that would be about a 50% increase. So if ETH could go up 50% between now and the end of the year, let's say, that would take ETH to about 2,700 or so. Not quite, maybe 2,600. So that would probably be a good target for ETH, 2,600. 2024, if you watched my 4-year cycle video, 2024 is when the Bitcoin halving is, and usually either right before or right after the halving, there's a little pump, and then a little sideways, and then we eventually start the bull market. Now, if the bull market is pulled a little forward, we can already see some positive movement there. Again, this is just thinking that if the 4-year cycles continue to be in play, and the same kind of action is going to happen in 2024. And if that's the case, then from that 2,600, ETH could probably get up to like 5,000. So we could be seeing some all-time highs. But that is a very positive outlook, I think. There's still a lot of possible black swan events that can happen in crypto between now and then, particularly in the United States, with these regulatory agencies like bashing anything involved with crypto. So we could see some kind of change in the way crypto is seen. But crypto is worldwide, and we see a lot of adoption of crypto, particularly more in Africa going on now, as well as other countries that are going to start adopting it, like El Salvador did. So the more there is worldwide adoption, and with ETH, building on smart contract platform, that will just continue to grow cryptocurrency, regardless of what the United States does. I'm here in the US, so, can't say this enough. This is my ledger, and you put crypto on your ledger, and then I can take this anywhere, right? I could, if I can't get it off in the United States, right? Because the exchanges in the United States won't let you buy or sell crypto anymore, I could just take this to another country and register on a platform in another exchange in another country and be able to pull some off and sell. So that's the self-custody part of crypto. So if you're interested in Ledger, I do have a link in the description below to check that out. I am an affiliate partner with Ledger. So you buy your Ledger through my link, you get a little something, I get a little something. That's how those affiliate links work. But this is what I use as a ledger for some of my crypto. I also have an Exodus wallet that is an app on a computer. I do not use the one on the phone. I don't have any wallets on my phone anymore, except the MyDoge wallet for some Doge tipping and things like that. That's the only thing I use my phone for now, is the MyDoge. But don't use Trust Wallet, don't use MetaMask Wallet. Just phone hacking is at an all-time high right now, and I just keeping it safe. So that's what we're looking at there. A little bit more red candle going on here. That's not good. Doge down to 738, Bitcoin down to 27,882. So Kyle, right now, I don't know if it's going to be a good week or not. I think I'm betting on sideways right now, and we may see some dips. Again, I don't foresee any big negative things until maybe Friday, and what happens with these with the inflation report that's going to come out. But typically, the United States fudges the numbers enough, so it makes those reports look good enough. When we might know better that it's actually not so good. But prices are tending to come down a bit in the stores that I've noticed. So I guess that's good. TRX, I wouldn't touch it. I would not touch any project that is associated with Justin Sun. So I've said that many times before, if you haven't heard me, but he's just one of those Do-Kwon type players in crypto that I would not be involved in any of his projects, because there's going to be come a time when the SEC most likely is going to be hunting him down. because of the games he's played in the past with his own tokens. That news is slowly starting to come out, and if he's definitely, or if he is brought before the SEC, he's going to be in trouble because he can't defend what he did. So I would stay away. That's, again, not financial advice, but I would stay clear of Justin Sun projects if I were you. So you've been staking TRX for about a year now, making decent money off it. Well, stay tuned to the news, Kriss. That's my advice. Stay tuned to the news, and just do a Google search on Justin Sun and SEC, and just do it every day. And as soon as you see something in the news that you think might put your TRX in jeopardy, your staking rewards are not going to cover the potential losses if that starts going down. So just keep up with the news on that. I have not looked into Pi. I'm not going to look into Pi. Pi is set up as the ultimate Ponzi scheme. People have been talking about Pi for 2 years. You're like, join Pi, use my code, use my link, blah, blah, blah. I'm not touching it. So again, there's enough other great projects out there. That why do you want to be in TRX and Pi? There's some great projects out there that are actually building things and actually doing things by reputable foundations and reputable people in the business, and that's what I'm doing now. So pocket ETH Classic. Yeah, well, I bought some ETH Classic. I got back into the ETC game, and the reason I got back into the ETC game is twofold. One, it's a proof of work cryptocurrency. So with fears around proof of stake, I was like, yeah, you know what? ETH Classic proof of work, I'm going to own some of that. I already own some Litecoin. I own some Dogecoin. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. Those are the proof of work cryptocurrencies. So I bought some Ethereum Classic. And the second is Barry Silbert. So Barry Silbert, he runs the Digital Currency Group. Is that his name? Or is that Mike Novogratz's? I forget. It's one of those. He's, of course, the one that is famous for shorting Dogecoin about 1.5 years ago. But he also is a big supporter of ETC. And he's the one who him and his buddies pumped ETC up over $100 about 1.5 years ago. And I think that's going to happen again. So I think there's going to be another pump on the Ethereum Classic, big pump. If we go back on the daily, we can zoom out and we can see when that pump was on ETH Classic. That was back here in May of 2021 when ETH Classic came up over $100, came up to like 160, 170 peak, and then came right back down. But there's going to be another big pump in ETH Classic, I think. So I felt it was worth getting into the ETH Classic game. So I bought some ETH Classic. I don't know what ETH Classic is doing as in terms of a blockchain, because all of the big projects are all on Ethereum. So, but these old cryptocurrencies, they stick around, and there's a lot of supporters behind them. So I do support ETH Classic. So the week ahead, it looks like might be a little bumpy, but sideways action. So And that's kind of where we've been. I mean, this is the daily. And look, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's almost 2 weeks of sideways action here on the daily for Dogecoin here from the 13th of March through the 26th. We're still in this general same range of where we were coming out of the big dip that we had on the 10th and 11th when Doge dropped into the 6s. So I think we're going to be seeing more of this for a little while, actually. So that's it, guys. Week ahead. I'll be here every night of the week here, 9 o'clock. So do check out my live stream. As always, give a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Appreciate the support. I'll be putting the Bitcoin chart up on the 24/7 live stream as soon as this live stream is over. Invite you to check that out. That's on YouTube. You can always take a look at the chart and leave a comment in the chat too. So let me know what you think overnight through the day tomorrow. I check in on it every now and then we'll be back tomorrow night. So until then, hope you all have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.